Hey y'all, today we're going to dive into the fascinating world of carb counting and how it can help empower you on your diabetes management journey. But first, a few housekeeping items. So, you're probably wondering, who am I to be talking about this topic? I'm Mila, and I am a diabetes patient advocate and an integrative diabetes nutrition health coach. I'm also an author and a self-taught cook who lives with latent autoimmune diabetes in adults. I run the website Hangry Woman, and my site aims to take away the shame and stigma that comes with the diabetes diagnosis and covers topics like diabetes management, cooking, and self-care from the perspective of someone living with this chronic condition. I'm also the founder of the app Glucose Guide. It's a brand new app just dropped in the iOS and Google Play stores. And Glucose Guide is like your personal diabetes assistant. So it's an app that connects you to community, helps with self-care, mental health, and helping you live your best life with diabetes. Plus, you have access to private and group coaching session circles as a member. They are low cost and affordable, which is something that I am super proud of. All of the coaching sessions are $29.99 USD per month. That is unheard of in the coaching world. And truly, my aim here is to be able to get people the help and support that they need. Like I said before, the app is in the Google Play and App stores, and you'll get daily content like recipes, affirmations, and diabetes news. So I hope you join. Just type in Glucose Guide in the search bar for the different app stores, and you'll be in. You can sign up for an account, and you'll be, hanging out with me in the app and getting some sessions like this, of course. So that's always really great. Also, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I know that it's so boring and every creator says it, but I'm a small channel and an independent creator. I also live with a chronic illness, and this is my livelihood. So any interactions on this video help me know that you want me to keep producing this kind of content. And it also helps when it comes to just making my channel the best community that it can be. The more people, the better. The more information that we get, the better we can all do with our diabetes management. So the good stuff. Today, we are going to be talking about how to carb count. And so I am really excited about what we're going to learn in this module. So you'll learn why carb counting can be helpful. You'll learn why carb counting helps to balance your nutrition goals, the benefits of carb counting, and how to start doing it. And I'll also share some resources at the end that can help you overall with what you're doing with carb counting and trying to understand that. First, though, I want to take a small moment to understand why diabetes itself and nutrition plays a crucial role in keeping our glucose in target ranges. Because I think it's really important to understand that first, and then you can understand why carb counting is important. And so this may seem super basic, but living with diabetes means our bodies have difficulty regulating our blood sugar levels. And that can either be from damage to our pancreas, from insulin resistance, from beta cell destruction, or from taking medications that increase insulin resistance. And so that's where our daily choices kind of come into play. And so by making mindful food choices and keeping our carbohydrate intake in check, we have the power to manage diabetes as effectively as possible. So some of the reasons that nutrition is important is because it helps to balance blood sugars, it helps to manage overall health, and it helps to reduce your risk of complications from diabetes overall and over time. So what exactly is carb counting? And you'll look at this page, and these are all things that have carbs. These berries, they have carbs. Banana has carbs. Potatoes, definitely starchy, definitely has carbs. And of course, the one we know the best, bread, has carbs. So what is carb counting, and why is it emphasized in diabetes management? So carb counting is a method of tracking and managing your carbohydrate intake. And carbohydrates are the nutrients that impact blood sugar levels the most. So being aware of how much you're consuming allows you to make informed decisions about your meals and snacks. So having your ability to be able to count carbs can help you better predict your blood sugar trends. So imagine you're about to enjoy a delicious meal. And by determining the amount of carbohydrates on your plate, you'll have a better understanding of how it might affect your glucose levels. And so it's like having your own superpower to manage your blood sugars. And so I have some examples here, and take these examples with a grain of salt because not everybody's bodies work the same, but this is just what happened when I did these things. And so when I had fat, fiber, and protein plus my carb, which is dressing up my carbs, or making sure to pair my carbs with protein, fat, and fiber, my glucose levels were a lot steadier. And so I was able to really kind of ride that wave by eating carbs and enjoying carbs, but also pairing them the best I could with other nutrients. Then when I had carbs on another occasion, this kind of shows that I ate carbs, I spiked over my normal blood sugar level. And then I overcorrected with insulin and ended up with hypoglycemia and going low. So this kind of just shows you what that trend looks like. This third one is where I just had carbs. I didn't pair it with anything. I just ate a piece of bread and it was delicious, but you can see how much it spiked me. And so it's really important kind of when you compare this first chart and this third chart, dressing up your carbs is going to help you immensely. It's going to really keep you steady and even. And then another example here, this last chart, is me eating carbs without pairing it with anything. So you can see I still got the spike. However, I had exercise after my meal. And so that ended up bringing me back down. And so really you might notice some more ways that your blood sugars react to carbs in different activities. But overall, it's a better predictor of what's going to happen with your blood sugars. If you're counting carbs, you can estimate that a little better and then make informed decisions about how to dose your insulin. Or if you need to exercise or take medication or whatever you're doing with your meal and alongside that meal. And I'm going to say this, and everybody thinks that I am insane for saying this, but I believe that all foods fit, and carb counting opens up a world of possibilities when it comes to your food choices. When you know the carbohydrate content of different foods that you have in your diet, you can enjoy a wider variety of meals and snacks and still maintain control over your diabetes management. So including all types of food in diabetes management allows for a balanced diet. It allows for satisfaction. It meets your dietary needs and your preferences. And it also keeps you satisfied. So, while a frosted donut might not be the best thing for your blood sugar, it's going to spike you. You're going to have to figure out how to ride that roller coaster wave. It is still okay to include. You just have to do a little bit of digging, a little bit of understanding to figure it out. And obviously, it is moderation. So it's not eating this same food every single day or for every meal. That once in a while snack is not a negative thing. It's not a bad thing. You just have to know how your blood sugars are going to be able to handle it and make the decision from there. Now I want to break down the process of carb counting into some smaller chunks so that we can kind of talk about how it can be manageable and how with practice it becomes second nature. And so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to set up a personalized carbohydrate range with the guidance of your healthcare team. And this is going to ensure that you're consuming an appropriate amount of carbohydrates for your specific needs. And so general rule of thumb, typically 30 grams of carbs per meal. However, you might be different. If you're more active, you might need more carbohydrates to get through the day. If you're less active, you might need fewer carbohydrates to get through the day. If you are struggling with high blood sugars, you might want to reduce your carbohydrate intake. And so your healthcare provider is going to provide that personalized advice to make sure that you're getting enough nutrients for the day and you're getting enough food and enough energy to be satisfied. And then step 2 is involving reading nutrition labels. And nutrition labels are on the back of every single food that you can find in the US. And they're a valuable tool in determining the carbohydrate content of packaged foods. So look for the total carbohydrate section, but also pay attention to serving sizes. And so, for instance, you may pick up a can of beans, and that can of beans is multiple servings. It's not just going to be one serving for this one can. So you want to be sure that you're reading the labels, you're looking at the serving size information and the amount of macronutrients per serving. And the macronutrients are fat, carbohydrates, protein, and fiber. The more fiber, the better. Fiber is a carb. And so people overlook that, and we'll talk about counting net carbs and kind of reducing the carbohydrate impact. Carbs are carbs. Fiber is a carb. Fiber is not digestible, so it slows down the impact of carbohydrates spike on your blood sugar. So you want more fiber, if anything. If you can find foods with more fiber, that's always great, but they are a carb. I just count them in total carbs. I don't pay attention to net carbs, to be honest. And then your third step is really to measure your glucose 2 hours after your meal. And so that is called postprandial glucose. That's going to tell you if you have dosed properly or if your body is secreting the right amount of insulin to get your blood sugars back into your suggested range. So it's really, really important that you are figuring out with your care team what your overall carbohydrate intake is going to be, that you're reading labels and that you are kind of keeping track and counting, and then that you're also measuring to understand if this is actually working for you. And the reason to me that measurement is so important is because it gives you the data to support what your treatment plan is. And so if you are still seeing that you're spiking high after meals and you're staying within that carbohydrate limit, that gives you some wiggle room to be able to say, okay, maybe I can include fewer carbs, see what this does to my blood sugar, and go back to the drawing board. It just gives you the ability to know if the outcomes that you are wanting and looking for are happening. There are also apps that make carb counting really easy, and a lot of these resources can be helpful in gaining confidence and achieving accurate carb counting. I have a tool like that coming to Glucose Guide, hopefully at the end of this year. I'm super excited about it. But overall, there are lots and lots of tools. I have a blog on my website about a few of the free tools that you can use to do that. They eventually come with a subscription, but they are mostly free to download. And the last thing that I want to reiterate is that carb counting is not meant to restrict you or make you feel deprived. Instead, it's a powerful tool that helps you make informed decisions to manage diabetes better. And so I really encourage you to embrace the journey of carb counting, engage with your healthcare team, explore educational resources. There are tons both on Hangry Woman and Glucose Guide, and connect with other people who understand the challenges of managing diabetes, because you are absolutely not alone in this. But I did want to reiterate that counting carbs isn't necessarily a way of saying eat less carbs. It's just a way of managing and tracking how many carbs you are having so that your blood sugars make more sense. And so I want to know if you're going to try carb counting, and if you take one action away from today's video, it's that you might give carb counting a try. Let me know in the comments section if you carb count and how you make it work, and if it helps you at all and makes your life a little easier, or if you're still struggling with it. And if you are still struggling with it, I'm happy to help. Join Glucose Guide, get on a coaching plan, and I am happy to work with you on your overall health goals. And I just want you to remember that you're not alone in this path again. And we're cultivating a community of individuals who support and uplift one another in Glucose Guide. And I love that we can navigate the challenges and celebrate the victories and create a positive and inclusive space for people with diabetes where you are heard. So, like I said, join Glucose Guide. You get live events, you get accountability check-ins, you get monthly wellness challenges with prizes, you get evidence-based articles, you get diabetes-friendly recipes, and it is all in your pocket. It is literally your diabetes personal assistant. And there are even more features coming outside of the community features that we have now. So you want to get in early, because next year, it's going to be a ride. We're going to have a great time in this app. And then I just wanted to give you some carb counting resources. So I have a video on YouTube here about reading labels. You can check that out. I also have an explanation video about carbohydrates and kind of how to look at carbs. And then I have a blog on my website that has free carb counter apps. So you can check that out as well. And I look forward to just seeing your progress and seeing how you do with this topic. So take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.